Welcome our viewers to today's edition of the FAT Talks. FAT stands for Faithful, Available and Teachable. I welcome you again to this edition. My name is Luka Moga, and those following us on our YouTube channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and then turn on your notification bell, such that whenever we have an update, you can clearly get the updates as and when they appear. Today in studio, I'm joined by a young and credible lawyer who is going to interact, with whom I'm going to interact, and we are going to be discussing a very, very interesting topic in life. Madame Denise, a young and upcoming lawyer, so interesting, and I wish and I guess all our viewers are going to have a very interesting interaction with us. Madame Denise, I'm delighted to have you, to host you on today's edition of the FAT Talks.
Thank you.
We are going to be talking about a very interesting and nice topic of seasons. It's quite a new topic, not so common in people's eyes, but I guess you're going to give our viewers a great explanation about this topic and how they can actually interact with the topic in their daily lives. So we are talking about seasons in life. Could you please introduce yourself to our viewers and then straight away dive into today's topic? What are seasons? When does someone know that they are in their seasons? And what should people do when their right seasons come? Please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you, Mr. Kamuga Luke. My name is Nasasira Denise, and if I am to mention one of the things that I would love to define me, and I'm a student as well in that particular field, is to be authentic to myself. So I chose this topic because it speaks a lot to me and it speaks to a lot of people, and I would love it best if we all pick something out of it. So how I understand what seasons are. Basically, there are very many definitions of what seasons are. Seasons can be defined in terms of ecology, weather, and some other people would want to define seasons in terms of TV sequences, but that is not our main topic today. So today I'm going to base on defining my seasons in terms of weather and ecology. So like in our country, Uganda, our seasons are basically two. We have the rainy seasons and the dry seasons. So I want to relate these seasons in our personal lives. When we are in our dry or rainy seasons, the very many personal seasons we experience as people. Let me say in your dry seasons, you as a person, that is a time where you may say experiencing loneliness, sickness, failure, singleness, or whatever stumbling block that you're facing in that period of time. So the question is, how do you determine, what do you do in such a time of your rainy season? What do you do in those periods? And what I've realized with us, the youth, we are so quick, because in season there is planting and harvesting. We are so quick to come and harvest before we plant. And you need to go through all the procedures of life. You need to plant, because by the time you expect your good produce, you have to have planted wisely. And by the time we plant, we have to plant on fertile soils. So let me say it is an example of maybe failure. It's in that time of your life where things are not working out well. How are you supposed to work through that period of time? So one thing that you should know, how am I going to maneuver through these seasons in my life, these tough seasons, these dry seasons of my life? Number one key that you're supposed to know is you're supposed to know who you are. No one will ever define who you are. If I know who I am, and it is that season of my life where things are working east-west, they're not working according to my plans, according to the goals I have planned, I'm supposed to know that seasons are temporary. Just like how we get rain and then the sun comes in with time, it's never a permanent season. So you need to know that whatever season I'm facing in my time right now, it's not a permanent time. It's just a temporary situation. So let me say it is a time of singleness. You need to, and one thing I've realized about seasons, you need to appreciate every season you're in, and know that every season you're in has a purpose. If it's in that time where you're lonely or it's in your singleness, you need to appreciate that period. And you should know that there is a reason for everything, and you should know there is a purpose why you're in that season. And when you get to know that, and when you get to know who you are, and you create the seasons you're in, there's no way you're going to let these failures take over you. There's no way you're going to beat yourself over the seasons you're in. And then keeping at the back of your mind that whatever season I'm in, it's not a forever situation. One day it's going to shine bright for me. One day the rains are going to come, and one day I'm going to harvest. So you need to understand the seasons you're in. We as the youth, we need to get to know the times we're in, and we need to know that the times I'm in right now are for planting, because I'm looking ahead. This is where I want to be, so I need to plant, I need to work hard, I need to work smart, I need to put myself out there. So you need to know the dream, you need to have a vision, so that you work well in the seasons you're in. And well, you asked me a question, how do you know the season you're in? Well, that is a tough question.
That was the question that was actually going to be posed in the meantime. But great you've come to it. When does someone know that they are in this and this season? If it's, for example, a season of plenty, when do you realize that, because we've seen people, some people, I had an artist who sang that an opportunity comes once in a lifetime, and a season may come once in a lifetime. People have said that when we relate to money, money is like air. It comes and goes. When do you realize that this is either my right season to shine bright, or maybe to sit back and have a break and then, I'll resume later? When do you realize that it's my season, this and this is happening, and what are you supposed to do about such times after realizing your season?
Just like I said, it's such a nice question. And as I was starting, I said I'm a student trying to learn authenticity.
Yes.
So I'm going to try to be true to myself and the viewers. So just like you said, when do you get to know that this is the season I'm in? Either is it a plentiful season, or is it a season of luck? I'll give an example of myself. When I finished my law degree in August this year, 2022, of course the main thing was, I need to join the Law Development Center for my postgraduate back course. At that time it was unfortunate, I can say. I was like, why didn't I join in this intake? Why are things delaying for me? So to be here right now, I have to say it wasn't an easy thing. I had to learn certain situations. I had to learn that this thing that has happened, it's not supposed to break me down. But it wasn't just a thing of waking up and you snap and you're like, I can do it. I had to understand the season I'm in. It was a lot of work. I had to sit myself down, and realize that, Denise, you still had plans in life. You can still achieve your dream at any time. It's not the end of it. So it's about learning and relearning whatever situation you're in. So in that situation of knowing I wasn't going to go for my back course, I had to sit myself, like I had said, and realize what my goals and visions are. So I set myself down, and whatever situation I was facing, I had to keep learning and relearning. And right now, that's when I can say that it is fortunate that maybe I didn't go for the bar in that period. But it was because of the work I've done on myself. Me to say right now that it is fortunate. So the key thing is you need to work on yourself, depending on the season you're in. Let me say, just like we say that money comes and goes. When you have that mentality, let me say in that time, it is the time where you're having great opportunities. You need to utilize them as well. Just like I said, these things are not permanent. there's a time when the dry seasons will come. And what happens is because seasons are not supposed to control us, it is the actions that we do that will control us. So let me say in your time of plenty, you misuse the time. When time for dryness comes, things will not be the same. So whatever season you're in, you need to utilize it very well. You need to know that there is a purpose. Even if right now I have the great opportunities happening for me, I need to utilize them very well. I need to know that in case certain things come and don't work out well for me, a season of tough time comes, I'm ready for it, because I have taught myself that I need to, just like I said, you need to teach yourself and to learn. And one of the other key points is whatever season you're in, either scarcity or great opportunities, you need to be good at it. It's very funny. I'm in my failure time. How do you expect me to be good in a period where things are working east-west for me? You need to be very good at it. Being good at it in your times of scarcity is not like beating yourself up and regretting, oh my God, maybe this is how I'm supposed to be. No, it's you realizing that you have great potential. And just like I said before, to know the seasons and how to maneuver through is to know yourself. That is the number one key. No one will ever teach you who you are. You need to know yourself, and you need to know the great potential you have. And just like I said, so in every season you're in, you need to be good. Avoid mediocrity. If it is great opportunities, be extra. You're either extra or you're not good at it. So you choose one beside you want to. So me, I'll choose to be extra. I don't want to practice mediocrity. And just like I said, everything is about learning and relearning.
Wow. I guess our viewers, you're learning, you're having a greater deal of lessons from our host today. So this is so interesting. A lot of people would view seasons in terms of religious beliefs and faith, and they wouldn't take it in our normal contemporary kind of lifestyle. But it's good you brought it in this way that everyone can relate in their daily lives. So, from there, if someone is experiencing a certain season, for example, we've talked about seasons where you have it, it's your season, you can feel it. What about in great trying moments? One time I was reading a novel, and then a husband lost his wife, and when they were in church, the priest said, "We thank God, for He has taken the life of the dead." The husband, in his narration, he said he was almost fighting back the priest. He couldn't just believe the priest was thanking God for the loss he had sustained at that moment. But I guess it was a season. So in such tough times, how should people really behave? How should they cope up? Because the youth these days, it's very possible you've seen people committing suicides. And when you interrogate the cause, you find that maybe if they consulted, if they talked to someone else, they would have gone through it. So we have these tough times. Which kind of advice would you give to the youth out there having maybe tough times, times that were never expected, times that were never thought of, but nevertheless life has to continue? Which kind of advice would you give to our viewers who are experiencing such tough times?
Okay. There's a saying that tough times make us stronger.
Yeah.
And without tough times, there's no way you will know the kind of potential you hold. But like a person, just like you gave a scenario, let me say, of maybe those that have suicidal minds. That is a person, at that moment, they're not thinking about this tough time I'm in will bring out my potential. That is not even the thought they have in their mind. So it is so tough to teach that person or to tell that person that, hey, you hold a great potential. Don't think about this. Don't think that the adversities you're facing right now are going to lead you into failure. So it is really tough, but at the end of the day, I will repeat this, and it is just for emphasis. You need to know who you are. I need to repeat it. You need to know who you are, regardless of every situation you're in. You need to know. And keep in mind that this situation is just temporary. Many people have gone through it, and I'm not trying to say that it is okay, you also go through it. It is just automatic. Well, it's not automatic, it is work. Like I gave an example about myself. It is work. Right now, to be here seated and saying everything that has worked in my life from the time when I knew that I wasn't going to join the bar to now, and I say it is fortunate that I didn't join in that intake. It is the work I've polished on myself to realize the potential that I hold. So you need to work on yourself. You need to believe that these things that are happening are temporary. And another thing, you need to block the noise. And you gave an example of the priest who thanked the Lord that they had lost. Well, just like I said, every season has a purpose. At that time, it is such a trying moment where we need we need someone to console you. And him saying, "We thank the Lord." Well, I don't want to interpret his mind, but in my view, I think, as like I said, every season has a purpose. And one thing you never realize the purpose there and then. That is the things that are very tricky about life, but that is what makes life beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, about that, would you advise someone? There are certain instances people go through, and then they ask why. Why am I really facing this situation? Is that a good question to ask yourself when you're facing certain times? And also, when you're facing good times, seasons of like harvesting, you're having plenty. Is it by design that at this stage of life, I'm going to experience this season, or it's just something from the supernatural being?
Okay, thank you. You first asked me the why.
Yes.
Why? Well, by the time you have such a question, why, let me first tell you, you're a human being. So don't beat yourself around and be like, okay, maybe I ever asked the why question, maybe I'm not normal. It is okay, you have feelings. You keep asking yourself why a situation is not working out. But when you ask yourself the why, don't ask it forever. Ask yourself the why and then get to work. Because when you beat yourself around every time is going, your season of happiness could even come, your opportunities could come when you're still wallowing in your pain. It is okay to ask the why, but as you ask the why, put solutions there and then. It is a journey. It is a process of learning and relearning. And then you asked, like, how the great seasons come. Is it about supernatural beings? Well, I believe life has no formula. Anytime your opportunities can hit you at any time. It's not about when you reach 40 and maybe that is when I'll be the wealthiest person around. Or maybe with right now with the economic recession happening right now. It is believed you can't be 30 and you'll be among the wealthiest people, especially in Africa. Make it worse in Uganda. Make it worse with your average family that you came out from. So literally, you grow up with such a mindset of, you know what, I can't make it. You look around yourself, that is the situation you're in. And because society has branded us in such a situation, at the end of the day, get to know who you are. That is not the potential you hold. Society shouldn't define you. Like I said, these opportunities don't have a formula. You need to be, when you get to know the potential you hold, the greatness can even hit you at any time. Because you're working on yourself, you're planting, you're watering your plants. When I mean watering, you're building yourself, you're making yourself better. So the harvest can happen anytime. There is no formula. So it is about working smart, and don't sit around and think you're going to harvest when you haven't worked at all. And you need to work smart. With working smart, you need to plant in good soil. You need to cut the noise that is stopping you from reaching where you're supposed to go.
Well, thank you, Madam Denise. That is a very, very wonderful discussion. And I just want to remind our viewers, please follow us on our YouTube channel, on our website, fidelisleadershipinstitute.com. Like and turn on your notification bells. And Denise, as we conclude today's discussion, I know it has been a wonderful one.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe could you please say a word in 30 seconds to anyone out there watching us and would like to actually know when their season is due, whether a season of being soulful or enjoying. So would you please give your last words before we call it a discussion?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kamoga. My last remarks will be, you shouldn't judge every season you're in. Don't judge yourself. Don't beat yourself around. Whatever situation you're in, it is okay. Don't think don't think you're the failure or you're the most unacceptable person in society. Just, you need to block the noise. It's all about you and looking forward to where you're going, and keeping in mind that every situation that you're facing, it's never permanent. It's never a permanent situation. So life gets better, and when you work on yourself and when you get better, that is how your harvest is plentiful. So it's all about the work. You need to work on yourself.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to have hosted you today.
Thank you.
And our viewers, please endeavor to follow us, like, and also turn on your notification bells such that any updates that comes through our YouTube channel is actually received, and then you can view and watch. So our viewers, thank you so much for watching us. We meet again.